And what you think your strength is may not be. I never thought in this world I was a motivator. And it turned out that I'm a strong motivator. I never saw myself as a motivator. I always thought of high I people as being the motivators. But in any case, it tells you what you need, what you really need to know. And it is accurate. One thing I like about Dave Curlin, the guy that did this, he's a tenacious person. He started out his career with IBM many years ago as a sales trainer and salesperson. I think he's about as good as it gets, but he's very tenacious and very stubborn. And he had experts. He had a lot of psychologists trying to develop this instrument for him, and he was getting nowhere. And he and his staff decided to fire every one of them and go back to basics, which they went back to basics. What do we want to measure? What do we have to do? How are we going to get there? So they went out and they interviewed successful business CEOs. What are you looking for on your management team? What do you need? And they identified these management styles along with these, what's the other part? The qualities. The qualities you can work on changing. The management styles don't change too much. But when you learn your management style, you can change. And when you use breakout, which is the process that Partners is our proprietary process, you can change that too, because I was able to change the opinions that were holding me back as a risk taker. And I'm a much bigger risk taker today. So we have that extra tool that others don't have. But anyway, that's what your management styles are about. And the instrument is so inexpensive. It's like $400 a person. If you're in a CEO club, it's like $350. And the overview is included. You know, so if you had 3 people, you pay $350 times 3, and you get the overview. You look at yourself and you look at the team included. And that'll be the best money you ever invested in your life. It'll show you really what you need, not only on the styles, but on the qualities that Arthur will show you in a few minutes.
Here's all the styles, the 9 management styles, and here are the managers that were evaluated. What these blocks mean is green means you have these attributes, and red means you don't have them, and yellow means you have some of those attributes. So if you can look very quickly, very simply, you can see quickly that Dave Davidson is not a problem solver. But on his team, he has 3 people that are problem solvers. And one thing that you might look for is the red. There's not very many motivators, but they have one. Dave Davidson is a motivator on the team. But look at the visionary and the strategist. They don't really have anyone with green in these 2 areas. So those are 2 areas that immediately will show you where your weaknesses are on your team. And where, when you bring in additional managers, you need to fill someone that's a visionary and a strategist. Does that make sense?
Could you imagine if you had all red, if in any one of these categories you have all red, you have a serious problem. You know, we're assessing different companies all the time, and we'll find out, you know, maybe we have, just like this, we have 1 motivator and 3 non-motivators. Well, suppose that the CEO has been the one trying to motivate. Maybe the number 2 or 3 has been trying to motivate. And every time they look at somebody, they're demotivating them. And they don't know it. They don't realize it, okay? So you flop it, all right? Back away, okay? Let this person motivate. And you know, this person doesn't have all reds, do they? Look at all the greens they have. They're problem solvers, negotiators, risk takers, executors. So you're not going to have them all. There's nobody in the world that's going to come up green straight across. I guess the good Lord in His infinite wisdom made it so we all need each other in one way or another. And that's the key in here. And this thing, just look at that chart, green and yellow and red. It'll show you instantly what you have. And man, you can fill those holes immediately. Okay, so if I go to hire and I'm weak in an area, suppose you come to me and you say, Sam or Arthur, help me hire partners. Okay, so we use all the instruments. We use the DISC. We use step 1. We use the other instruments, maybe if they're sales or whatever. Okay, but you say, and we look at this, but we never had this instrument before. But what you really need is one of these styles. Well, we'll give this person this instrument. If they don't have it, forget it. I don't care what other qualities they have, if that's what we're looking for. But if they have it, then of course we have to look at the rest to make sure everything else is okay. But can you imagine how we can prevent a hiring failure with this tool and how fast you can see it with this color? That's why I say this instrument is it's the best one I've ever seen developed.